Did you know the highest rated RPG of all time isn't The Witcher, Skyrim, or some other blockbuster title? It's an isometric RPG made by a small indie team. Isometric RPGs might not grab headlines, but they consistently deliver some of the deepest, smartest, and most impactful gaming experiences around. This list will show you exactly why the genre is better than ever. First up, let's journey to year 40,000, where Rogue Trader perfectly conveys the tone of its popular setting. Hitting the two key points of the Warhammer 40k universe, grim and dark, it's a sci-fi adventure like few others, with a variety of interesting characters, gameplay systems, and weapons to get to grips with. Rogue Trader's the sort of game you'll be spending a long time playing.
This could be an opportunity.
This one just lets you take the leash off and go full space capitalist psychopath. You're the one owning the ship, making deals, burning planets, handing out death or salvation depending on your mood that day. It's heavy. Gameplay's old school CRPG. Turn-based tactical, crunchy as hell. You got a full crew, deep builds, a million ways to break the system if you're paying attention. One minute you're talking to a demon about philosophy, and next you're dropkicking heretics with a chainsword. It's chaos. Structured chaos, but still chaos.
And then the Zeppelin and the fire!
A lot of you asked for this one on our last isometric list, so here you have it. Arcanum of Steamworks and Magick Obscura. Quite a long name for a game, right? You're tossed into a crash. Literally, your airship goes down in this wild, unpredictable land caught between magic and technology. Right away you get this feeling. You're not some chosen hero walking into destiny. You're lost, broken, and the world doesn't owe you anything. Playing Arcanum is like stepping into this dusty, weird crossroads, where magic's old power rubs up hard against the cold clang of machines. It's messy and uneven, sure, but that's part of the charm. You pick your path, crank out steam gadgets, or hurl spells that crack the sky. What sticks with me isn't the perfect combat or the flawless story. It's the feeling that every choice pulls you deeper into a world that doesn't give a damn about you, but still reacts. The moment when a quest you botch spins into chaos, or when your cyborg character tries to understand what magic even is. It's a slow burn, but it's a world that feels like it's still out there, ticking away. It's rough, it's stubborn, but it's different in a way most games today don't even try. If you're enjoying the video so far, please hit that like button, it really helps us out. But now, we've got an RPG from Obsidian Entertainment, and one that doesn't waste time pretending you're a hero. In Tyranny, you work for the bad guys. The war you would normally expect to be fighting is already over. The resistance is crushed, and you're there to make sure everybody falls in line. The writing's razor sharp, choices are tough, and the world feels tense in ways that remind me of games like Icewind Dale and Fallout. Gameplay sticks very close to Pillars of Eternity, Obsidian's other RPG, but Tyranny places more importance on interactivity and choice, even going as far as to allow players to shape the campaign's story. Fights don't drag, abilities hit hard, and spellcraft's deep. You're literally building spells from scratch, tweaking range, effects, and keywords like some sort of mad arcane scientist. It's honestly nerdy in the best way. You feel it with this one. The dread, the power, the controls slipping through your fingers. Plus the game's whole look and atmosphere are pretty memorable. Tyranny is cold, clever, and mean in all the right ways. But speaking of deep, choice-driven experiences, let's move on to one of the most content-packed titles on this list, Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. This is the even better sequel to the already fantastic Kingmaker, a turn-based isometric RPG with one of the most in-depth character creation systems in gaming. It provides systems in the dozens, presenting players with a wide array of classes that cover almost every conceivable gameplay style. This one has a bit of everything, and the Mythic Path is also an exciting addition to the late game, and opens up a whole new slew of choices and trajectories. Wrath of the Righteous is a great modern inclusion to the genre, one that harbors back to the classics, while also refining its own formula. You can sink hundreds of hours into this one too, and if you have, let us know in the comments down below.
Well, that's interesting.
Our next title, Solasta: Crown of the Magister, is sure to interest you if you're a Dungeons & Dragons enthusiast, since it runs off the 5th edition rules. It's able to do this thanks to something called the Systems Reference Document, an open gaming license. which is a fancy way of saying the rules for D&D are available for anyone to use. Solasta makes solid use of this to provide varied player customization options and satisfying combat. It's a great entry point into the genre as well as being satisfying to veterans. One thing I really liked about this one is how it captures the feel of a classic dungeon crawl without feeling old or repetitive. The game leans hard into exploration, traps, puzzles, and tense encounters, and it nails that sense of danger and mystery you'd get in a tabletop session. You'll scout for hidden levers, avoid collapsing bridges, and light up dark corners just to see what's lurking. It brings back that thrill of being deep underground, with no idea what's around the next corner. It's one of the few modern RPGs that really makes dungeons feel like dungeons. Check it out.
Perfectly preserved.
Our next game is one of those titles only the most hardcore isometric RPG bros have completed. Temple of Elemental Evil doesn't waste time easing you in. Right away, you're trapped in the creeping shadow of a cult that's been poisoning the land for years. It starts with rumors, disappearances, strange creatures, and quickly pulls you into a mystery that feels genuinely threatening. As you explore, the scale opens up. It's not just a dungeon crawl, it's about unraveling how this evil cult has infiltrated towns, corrupted people, and built a network of power beneath the surface. The tension ramps up when you meet characters who aren't all good or evil. Everyone has their own agenda, and alliances feel fragile. The slow-burning reveal of the cult's true power is what drives you forward. You're trying to stop a dark force that could shatter the world's balance. And that weight, knowing you're in over your head, but having to keep pushing, is what makes the story stick. It's a grind, sure, but one every discovery and every fight adds pieces to a larger, darker puzzle. Let us know if you played this one.
Yes, sir.
Alright, next up, we've got Shadowrun Returns. This is a lean, moody cyberpunk RPG that drops you into a world where megacorps run everything. Elves sling spells and everyone's got a price. It's grimy, it's fast, and it never overstays its welcome. You're a Shadowrunner, basically a freelance merc working jobs that bounce between hacking networks and putting bullets in heads. It's turn-based tactics, XCOM style but tighter. No bloated systems, no fluff, just clean, focused combat that makes every move count. Story's the real hook here. Noir vibes, dead partner, conspiracy spiraling out of control. Dialogue respects your intelligence. Like corporate dystopia meets street-level magic. It shouldn't work, but it absolutely does. Shadowrun Returns knows exactly what it is. No wasted time, just style, grit, and a solid ride. Underrail is the kind of game that throws you into a collapsing underground metro system full of mutants, cults, toxic politics, and says, figure it out. No training wheels, just you, a rusty pistol, and a lot of bad decisions waiting to happen. The turn-based combat in this one is quite unforgiving. Builds matter a lot. If you try to play it like a casual RPG, it'll chew you up. But if you take the time to understand its systems, stealth, psi powers, traps, energy weapons, it opens up in a way that's honestly brilliant. Slow burn, but worth it. One thing I like is the writing's cold utilitarian style. Scavenging scraps, picking sides, or not. If you like the old Fallouts but wanted something even harsher and more mechanical, Underrail scratches that itch like it's got nails. Just don't go in blind. This one makes you earn it. Alright, let's talk about an isometric game for the die-hard ARPG fans. Inspired heavily by the Diablo franchise, Path of Exile has a familiar UI, infinite build options, and seemingly endless dungeons and items to conquer. Fans of the series laud its skill system and uncluttered gameplay. Path of Exile also stands out for its seasonal leagues, which regularly introduce new mechanics, monsters, and look to keep hardcore players hooked. The passive skill tree alone is a labyrinth of possibilities, intimidating at first but a dream for theory crafters. And if you're into trading, crafting, or min-maxing, this game goes deep. It's free to play without being paid to win, which has earned its massive respect in the ARPG community. The second entry in the Divinity franchise is not only the best in the series, but also one of the greatest RPGs of any generation. It also laid the foundation for Larian Studios to produce Baldur's Gate 3, which we'll get to shortly. Divinity Original Sin 2, tactical combat comes with a steep learning curve, where making full use of each party member's unique strengths is essential. Even the most basic encounters can punish careless play. Outside of combat, the game impresses with consistently excellent writing, memorable characters, and a world packed with detail. Exploration is constantly rewarded, whether through hidden quests, clever interactions, or the many choices that can lead to wildly different outcomes. Depending on whether you're persuading your way through a tense dialogue, teleporting enemies off cliffs, or simply choosing which of the deeply written origin characters to play as, the game rarely forces you down a single path. Nearly every system, from crafting and exploration to combat and story progression, is open-ended, giving you the tools to shape your own experience. It's this level of agency that keeps players coming back for second, third, and even fourth playthroughs. Let's go back to a classic and completely unique RPG that's set in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. Planescape, Torment, is what many refer to as the GOAT of RPG writing. The game tells a refreshingly strange tale about an immortal being who sets out to find his memories as the slate is wiped clean whenever he's killed. The Nameless One is among the best protagonists in the RPG genre, one who is never reduced to a surrogate for players to live out their hero fantasies.
Alright.
Planescape Torment mostly pushes combat to the side, to focus on its narrative and world building, a decision that makes it more accessible for a revisit in this day and age. Honestly, the combat isn't great compared to the other games here, but this one is worth playing, just for the first few starting areas alone. Absolutely classic.
Updated my journal.
A whole city block to carve your...
Alright, you're probably wondering what the game was I was talking about in the intro. The #1 rated RPG of all time? Well, described by many as the best alcoholic cop simulator ever, Disco Elysium reimagines how games need to operate in tandem with the people playing them. In the game, players control a cop who has various voices whispering to him in his head. The player can choose which voices to listen to and bear witness to how the character's mental state holds up or deteriorates accordingly. Not only did the game take the most wins at the 2019 Game Awards, but also scored multiple BAFTA 2020 wins, and there's talk of a TV show in development. For a quirky isometric RPG, look no further than this. 2 decades later, Baldur's Gate 2 has yet to lose its shine. Once again set in the Forgotten Realms, BioWare's RPG presents a detailed world rich with personality and tales to tell. This one really demonstrates the peak of the Infinity Engine era. The main quest, which should roughly take around 75 hours to complete, builds on the first game by telling a more personal but still epic storyline. However, the side quests might be even better than the central story in this one. The gameplay expands on that of the first game, allowing for different approaches to be used in combat. For me, this one is a huge step in writing and overall polish from the first game, which is also excellent, by the way. Baldur's Gate 2 is really everything an isometric RPG should be, and heavily inspired by most of the games on this list. Most importantly, our next game. If you haven't already heard how amazing 2023's Baldur's Gate 3 is, we can only assume you've sworn off using the internet. Praise for the game has been almost unanimous, with every single aspect receiving accolades and appreciation. The voice acting, the graphics, the narrative, the gameplay, all of it is individually great and comes together to make something truly special. A game with almost endless replayability thanks to choices having a real impact, and no combat encounter playing out exactly the same way twice. This is bolstered even further by mods. Baldur's Gate 3 has become the benchmark for RPGs going forward, and with good reason. If you're gonna play any game on this list, it should probably be this one.
Let's make this interesting.
Let's talk about one of my personal favorites, Icewind Dale. Following its work on the remasters of the original Baldur's Gate and its sequel, the dev team at Overhaul Games decided to tackle another classic CRPG from the Black Isle Studios stable. Originally released in 2000, Icewind Dale was another isometric RPG that made use of the Infinity Engine and the advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition rule set. The Enhanced Edition currently ranks as the best way to experience the game today, with support for widescreens and a slew of little tweaks and bug fixes to help the game play better on modern computers. The game reuses most of the original assets though, so those expecting a complete graphical overhaul might find the visuals a little bit dated by today's standards. I think the first game is much stronger than the second personally. The first feels more like an RPG and the second is more of a D&D combat simulation. Let me know what you think.
The three children of our
Those aching for something akin to the classic Fallout games need to check out the Wasteland series, particularly the second and third entries. I mean, it's not exactly old school Fallout, but it's a more modern experience, courtesy of its immersive world, the plethora of consequential choices the game presents to players, and its deep skills and combat systems. Set in Colorado, Wasteland 3 takes two desert rangers with trekking across the post-apocalyptic hellscape as they go from town to town. Along the way, they'll recruit NPCs, construct a well-rounded party, gain access to powerful vehicles, and make gut-wrenching decisions that ripple across the region. The turn-based combat is awesome in this one. Sharp and tactical, rewarding clever positioning, and smart use of each character's unique skills. Though for me, it's the branching storylines and dark, often absurd humor that really sets Wasteland 3 apart from other entries on this list.
Steps. When you're done, come on in and see us.
Speaking of Fallout, next we have one of my favorite games of all time. Fallout 2 is a classic RPG that oozes style. You start as this underdog tribesperson in a harsh, broken world, and the game lets you figure out how to explore and survive on your own terms. It's open-ended in a way that feels rare today. Every choice matters, and the world reacts in ways that can surprise you. Plus, the writing is hilarious and pretty controversial, which you don't see in modern games. Combat is clunky by modern standards, but every shot counts, and consequences are real. The story is dark with a lot of detail packed into the world.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
It's not polished or flashy, but it's honest. A game about survival and tough decisions in a brutal wasteland. If you want an RPG that trusts you to explore and make mistakes, Fallout 2 still delivers. One of the greats in my view. But let me know what you think. Also hit that subscribe button while you're at it. It really helps out the channel. So, Diablo II Resurrected. This one sticks close to the original, and honestly, that's both its biggest strength and its biggest challenge. If you played the original back in the day, it's kind of surreal how closely this matches the feel. The new visuals are sharp, but underneath it's still the same game. Methodical, brutal, and totally unforgiving if you're not paying attention. What stands out most is the pacing. It's slow by modern standards, but in a good way. You're constantly making choices, what gear to keep, how to build your characters, how far to push into a zone where you're low on potions. And when a boss fight hits, you feel it. They're tough, they hit hard, and you don't just blow through them. If you're looking for something fast and flashy, this might not be it. But if you want something with weight that respects your time and decisions, it still holds up. Tides of Numenera, it's a spiritual successor to Planescape, Torment, and it lives up to its legacy. The game's narrative is its strongest suit, weaving a tale of identity, mortality, and consequence. I was hooked from the opening moments, trying to piece together the mysteries of the changing god. The gameplay might not be for everyone, but if you love deep, thought-provoking stories, this game is a treasure. It's a reminder of what RPGs can achieve when they prioritize narrative and player choice.
You're not dead, Matkina. Come on, get up.
Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, is an RPG that oozes personality. From its vibrant world to its memorable characters, everything here feels handcrafted. Now, I've completed the first pillars, and after sinking a few hours into this game, I still can't get enough of its nautical theme. Steering my ship through uncharted waters, managing my crew, and engaging in ship-to-ship combat, it's an experience unlike any other. One standout moment for me was uncovering the mystery of Ukaizo, the legendary lost city. I spent hours piecing together clues, and when I finally reached it, the sense of discovery was amazing. Deadfire is a game that rewards curiosity, and its richly detailed world makes every side quest feel meaningful. If you want a game that's full of all the sea monsters, pirates, and magical quests you want, this game is for you.
This place smells.
Hopefully that's kind of cheered you up enough to hit that like button and subscribe, because we've got more great gaming lists coming up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.